The appearance of the Jedi killer General Grievous was not actually in Revenge of the Sith, although this would of course be his first live-action debut. Instead, he debuted in the Clone Wars series, which kicked off and initially released 2 years before Revenge of the Sith would premiere in theaters. It was actually in the Clone Wars where General Grievous would show up for the first time, being a nearly unstoppable Jedi killer, and clearly a match for many Jedi, including Jedi Council members such as Shaak Ti. General Grievous was an absolute force to be reckoned with, and was an extremely serious character, many individuals comparing him to the likes of the Terminator, an absolute Jedi killing machine, one that lacks all emotion but anger and aggression. This is clearly not the General Grievous that we would get in Revenge of the Sith, as it was revealed that George Lucas actually had a few problems with the character of General Grievous, problems that I think are very interesting, and today we'll discuss what George Lucas thought of Grievous and the massive changes he made to the character over the years, to the character's ability when fighting against Jedi and Force wielders, to his backstory, to his very personality. As stated, the General Grievous that we encounter in the Clone Wars show is an absolute force to be reckoned with. He's clearly one of the most skilled beings that we've seen with the lightsaber in Star Wars Legend, and could compete with the likes of a Legends Darth Vader despite his inability to tap into the Force. The reason for this being is General Grievous is only really confronted and defeated by Mace Windu, once Mace Windu falls upon his abilities to use the Force. Other than this, Grievous absolutely stonewalls and then runs through any Jedi that he comes across. However, George Lucas was not really on board with this depiction of his character, as he believed that it fell far too similar to the character of Darth Vader, and that he wanted Darth Vader to be the Terminator-like Jedi killer machine, not General Grievous, and believed that this was played out. George Lucas explained that he always wanted General Grievous to be more of a mustache-twirling villain, which comes across even in the way that he fights. It's clear in Revenge of the Sith that Grievous is powerful, but he's not the insurmountable force that he clearly is in the Clone Wars show. He's very beatable, and he's very much a coward. The cowardice aspect of Grievous again added by George Lucas, as he did not want another Darth Vader running around, as that was a character that George had done before. The reason for this, and the miscommunication, was the creators of the 2003 Clone Wars show only basically had a design and a basic concept of what Grievous was as a character. They knew that he was a warrior that commanded the Separatist droid army, and they knew that he used lightsabers and could compete against Jedi. They had no idea exactly how powerful the character was, and therefore took him in the direction that would be most satisfying for their own series. Again though, this wouldn't be the only major critique that George would have for the character of Grievous. Initially in Legends continuity, Grievous's backstory is massively tragic. Again, very similar to a character like Darth Vader, which you'll see is a theme with George Lucas and his relationship with Grievous, that he does not Grievous to be a ripoff of Vader. Anyway, the original backstory of Grievous goes as follows. He was a demigod warrior worshipped by his people, the Kaleesh. However, the Kaleesh were at constant war with another alien species known as the Huck, in an effort to turn their tide of their massive war and defeat the Kaleesh, who are actually the superior warriors. The Huck get the Republic and the Jedi involved, putting massive treaties and taxation against the Kaleesh warriors, causing Grievous and his people to fall into extreme poverty because of the fact that the Jedi and the Republic at large were not willing to investigate the greater conflict between the Kaleesh and the Huck, and simply immediately sided with the Huck. In order to provide for his people, General Grievous would join Dooku as sort of a bodyguard-like character, with Dooku seeing great potential in him. However, again, the only reason Grievous joins Dooku as sort of a bodyguard was to get money for his people who were starving to death. His decision to serve Dooku initially was not made out of malicious intent. It was here that Dooku would decide to massively injure General Grievous in order to make improvements to his body as well as his mind. It was at this point that Dooku would sabotage General Grievous's ship and nearly kill him, rebuilding him as a cybernetic monstrosity and a warrior. A story with a lot of similar beats to Anakin Skywalker's transformation into Darth Vader, and this being a backstory for General Grievous that George Lucas didn't really want. It was when Star Wars The Clone Wars returned in 2008 with a brand new animated show that George Lucas resolved to make these changes to a character which he did not like, as this original backstory of Grievous established in novels is what existed before the Clone Wars show came out, with George deciding to use the show to his advantage and change the aspects of the character of Grievous which he did not like. George Lucas did not want General Grievous to be redeemable in any respect, and wanted wanted him to be among the scummiest individuals in the entire galaxy, evil akin to the level of Palpatine. Therefore, he got rid of the character's tragic backstory trying to defend his people, and even changed why General Grievous was a cyborg, altering that it was not in fact Dooku that submitted Grievous to the cybernetic enhancements and changes, but that it was Grievous himself, with Grievous being denied becoming a Jedi due to his lack of ability to use the Force, with Grievous only wanting to become a Jedi to become a better fighter and a better warlord. Once he was denied, of course, though, he received funds from the Separatists as well as Dooku to create cybernetic enhancement, literally ripping his own body apart until he was more machine than man, in a desperate effort to compete with the Jedi. And in addition to this massive change to Grievous's backstory, he made Grievous's personality far more akin to what we see in the film Revenge of the Sith, making him far more of a coward, and as George put it, a mustache-twirling villain. He also made the character weaker in terms of combat, not wanting to create another version of Darth Vader, and wanting to make a character that was absolutely pure evil. And again, in George Lucas's own words, create a character that had no redeeming qualities. But those were some of the massive changes made to General Grievous over the years, again most of which perpetrated by George Lucas personally. But what are your thoughts on George's war with the character of Grievous over the years, and how he made these massive changes to him? Which version of General Grievous do you prefer? The Legends' tragic, powerful depiction, or the more slimy version that we see in the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.